PETERBOT is the absolute GOAT of W King Cash Cup Finals lobbies. He drops 30 bombs like it's nobody's business. And in this video, I'm going to show you 100 different of his fights. I've broken down every single strat and tip and trick that he's using that you guys can easily implement. And especially because he's doing this on high ping as well. So you guys can't just type in the comments saying he's on 0 ping. All right, before we get into this, this is the biggest how to W King video I've ever done. There's so many tips in here, lots of useful information. And if you guys can hit 3,000 likes in this video, I'll try to get PETERBOT on the Fighting Masterclass just for you. I'm going to start with the most simple and easiest tip for you guys to implement into your gameplay, and that is simply put, whenever you're replacing somebody, keep your crosshair on them at all times. PETERBOT, I think, is the perfect example. The first thing you should be doing is looking at the visual audio to figure out where your crosshair roughly should be, and then also make sure that the verticality of your crosshair, so how far up or down you're looking, is roughly where they would be peeking from. This is really simple to do, and it's going to drastically increase how much damage you deal with your pumps. So right here, as PETERBOT's replacing, you can see he'd make sure to block out his angles, then he regresses the same wall. But look, he's not smacking on the circle since there's no need to, the cone's already low HP. And of course, if you did that, then if the guy did edit, you'd have to swing your crosshair the whole way over this way to try to get a shot, as well as adjust for the verticality of that shot as the guy sort of jump peeks up onto you. Instead, he's keeping his crosshair dead on his opponent at all points in time. So when he does finally replace it and the guy does go for a counter peek, this is actually a pretty good peek from this guy. It's a right-hander, he's doing a jumping peek. But look, he's going to get massively out-traded because of the fact that PETERBOT's crosshair is already on him. And that's really easy to do. Again, as he pressures forward, as he goes for the edit, look, his crosshair is dead on the opponent, which means that even though the guy's got good movement, he's moving to the side, he's getting behind his peak, PETERBOT already has his crosshair up. All he has to do is a little micro adjustment to the side like that, and it's very easy to hit that shot and deal more damage in return. That is the most easy way to always out-trade your opponents, is just keep your crosshair on them, especially when they're likely to instant edit and try to do damage to you. Whenever you're box fighting or spawn, always follow these 3 steps. The first is to look and listen as you approach the wall. It's really important that you don't just run up to a wall when the guy could be holding instant edit with an auto shotgun. Right here, PETERBOT hears and also sees on visual audio the guy's popping a big pot, which means he can approach safely with his pickaxe out and go for the insta wall replace. Secondly, as you approach the box, look what is actually inside the guy's box. Does he have a cone? Does he have a stair? Or in this case, he actually has nothing, which is really good. It allows you to do a lot of different plays. And thirdly, as you break the wall, look where the other player is, so you can determine what type of edit you're going to do. You don't always want to do the same edit. You don't always want to do a Mongol Classic. It depends on where the person is in the box. Because A, this guy is popping a big pot, and B, he's in the center of the box, PETERBOT does a really smart play. He puts the guy inside of his cone as well as gets the wall at the same time. Other players' POV, he's trying to get his big pot off, he's scouting around, he gets his wall replaced, and then see how good this peek is. PETERBOT swings behind his edited window, the guy's stuck underneath the cone, there's nothing he can do in this situation, and he gets banged, and he can't even get damage in return as PETERBOT hits him. Then Peter just covers his angles, lines up the shot, and takes him out for free. This next fight, PETERBOT makes a huge mistake as he approaches. First of all, his opponent is pretty decent, hits him for a lot at the start of the fight. So what should you guys do in this situation when you're defensively fighting? The first thing is to look for counter damage immediately. Whenever you're the lowest HP, right here, 60 HP or something, this is when you should look for counter damage, because your opponent who just hit you is going to be chasing you, they're going to be running through your old builds, they're going to be trying to spray to end the fight quick. So you need to look for counter damage at that exact time, which is what PETERBOT tries to do. He's not able to get it off, so he reboxes upwards, quickly pops a medkit, and he's going to look to bait out the opponent again. Take a look what he does. He starts popping a big pot, and as he pops the big pot, he cancels it. So he basically wastes a big pot, only pops it for like 5 or so HP, and he looks for counter damage on the opponent, trying to bait him out. Have the opponent here is approaching from above. So how do you deal with somebody approaching you from above? First of all, make 2 boxes, and then secondly, do not do a type of peek that a lot of players do, which is doing a top right-hand peek, and the opponent who is standing right here, there's a little guy up here, I'll draw it for you guys, he has got a free shot on you, no matter what type of peek you do. Even if you perfectly sit behind it, he has got a free shot, and you can place the floor or reset something and block it. Instead, try to do what PETERBOT does here. It's very hard, you need to practice it. Edits out and hits the 1 pump as the guy's pressuring that top wall. It's very hard to predict from the other guy's POV. You can't even see PETERBOT as he does the play. So just make 1 box and then look for the counter damage just like this. Hits the bang and ends the fight super quick. Alright guys, there's only 2 more solo cash cups left in this season. If you want a serious shot of making $100 or getting your first time of earnings, then check out the Solos Masterclass 5.0. I know a lot of you guys aren't capable of dropping a 30 bomb in finals. However, the Solos Masterclass is a proven track record. We've already had $12,000 mostly in first earnings just from this season alone so far, and we've had over 550 different players make their first earnings by using it. It is genuinely the best investment you can make. I'm going to update it next season and the season after. You get free updates for life when you purchase it, and it's only $25. Go click the link down below if you want to see your name up on the screen right here. What do you guys do in this situation when you've got somebody and you've got a cone in their box and they're trying to rebox and escape? The key thing is the guy's going out to the right here, and a lot of you would probably think, oh, go for the right wall. But because PETERBOT is in the middle of this box, he's a little bit towards the left, it's actually quite hard to get that right-hand wall, and the guy's probably just going to escape and just dart out the back of this box and end up running away and trying to survive for this endgame. So what PETERBOT does is really smart, is he whips out his cone and he puts his crosshair on top of the wall on the diagonal. This means that he's able to get the cone from this extended distance away, and then as he jumps up to get a layer up, he places the floor at the same time. Use the reach of the cone and then swap to the floor, and you can be able to get the double edit on the other player. And of course, whenever you get a double edit, try to get the back walls. So he gets this wall out to the side here, and now the guy's got only one option, which is trying to run back into this box, or he just runs straight into the wall in this case, and he goes down. If you guys are ever completely shambles during a solos game, really simply just go do the EMP trick on a vending machine. Figure out where the nearest healing vending machine is, carry some EMPs over to it. You can either buy direct heals or big pots from the vendor, or you can just go throw a bunch of EMPs on it and then buy big pots as well as medkits, so you have the god loadout for W King with. One of the best get out jail free cards you can use when you're fighting, especially when you're in a bad spot like right here, he's directly on the wall, the stair's not in the correct position, is just place a stair inside their box. If they're at the back of the box, what's going to happen is they're going to be placed underneath the stair, and you can do any type of edit to get a free shot on them. If they're in the midpoint in the box, they're a little bit closer, that means they're going to get yellowed inside the stair, and it's going to be hard for them to see you. Unless their crosshair's perfectly lined up, they're going to miss the shot. And oftentimes, if they're close to the wall like that, like this guy is, what will happen is they'll get bumped up on top of the stair, and it'll mess up their crosshair placement, and their character will actually miss the shot just because you place the stair in the box. You can see PETERBOT do it again in a second here. He approaches the box in not the best fashion. He's hopping directly onto a left-hand peak, and take a look what he does. He just places a stair inside the guy's box. The guy phases, he completely misses his shot out past because he can't see what's going on, and PETERBOT's able to use that to close the fight really quickly. Whenever you're in a bad situation, if you're in a bad peak, just force a stair into somebody's box. Again, exact same thing here. The guy's not got a cone in his box, he's not countering this at all. PETERBOT's going to go directly on his wall. As soon as he whacks open that 3-tile edit, forces a stair in and allows him to finish the fight really simply. Right here, this is a really common situation you might find yourself in game. Somebody's got a stair over you and you've only got the floor below you. So how do you quickly turn this situation into an opportunity to counterpiece somebody? What PETERBOT does is he edits a single tile down at the back of the box, so the guy can't just 50-50 him. It's very awkward 50-50 that. And he goes ahead and leaves the tile open, which is the really key thing. This allows him to get the wall, as well as very quickly spray through and replace the stair with a burst SMG. At this point in time as well, he's got the back wall from placing both walls at the same time, just from this single piece that he's left open. So first of all, he's got out the box and then immediately turned that single edit down into full piecing the guy and possibly line up a max damage shot right there. It's a very hard shot to hit in return. The guy completely mistimes his shot, and Pete is able to take out the fight very cleanly. What he does is he baits the fact that he's going the other way, opens the window, and the guy's trying to line up a pre-fire shot on Peter's foot, and he goes straight down without doing any more damage in return. If you guys want to get better at box fighting, even if you're not the best ping like PETERBOT, try to just make opponents' walls low HP. Right here, he gets the wall one shot, doesn't go for the pickaxe, instead he goes for the replace with his AR, which means he can immediately follow up by spraying with his AR, gets the cone, and then takes the opponent out. He does the exact same thing in this next fight, gets a bit of damage to start with, and take a look what he does. Pickaxes, and then tries to get the pickaxe wall timing, and as he does this, he's placing a cone through the box, and then take a look what he does. He shoots the wall, so it's already low HP, and this means as the opponent opens up a pretty typical peak, he's going to try to do a top round peak. Because PETERBOT's already shot the wall, he's already got the wall to low HP, he can then insta-take it with his pickaxe as the opponent's got his gun out, and get a free kill just like that. Make sure you guys are pressuring walls as much as possible. Use your ARs, use your shotguns to actually get the walls to low HP, and especially during early game fights, this is how you end them very quickly. PETERBOT in his next fight shows two really useful tips and tricks as he follows this other player down and tries to hunt him down. The first one, this is very typical, is just placing a stair right here. However, a good player in this situation, if you're just standing on their wall with a stair, is going to do some type of instant edit, is going to try to get some counter damage and do some damage to you in return. The key thing is as you drop down to their wall right here is look as far as possible into the ground. This means even though you're still a whole tile layer above, PETERBOT's actually on the above layer still, he's able to grab the wall on the opponent just by looking down into the floor. As you can see, he gets that wall, and now he's going to pressure the opponent, who's forced to run out, and he's able to get cracked from the back. Now here, as Peter re-aggresses the opponent, he wants to end this fight quick. Look what he does. He shoots the wall as he approaches, which is really important. And now at this point in time, it doesn't matter if you've got a grey pump or grey auto. If somebody does an edit reset and you've shot their wall, it's going to be one shot to any gun in the game and you can just get straight in. It doesn't matter if it's a metal wall or if it's a brick wall or a wood wall, it's always going to be 1 HP and you can get straight in. First of all, PETERBOT very nicely is places a stair inside the guy's box as he does that edit reset, so he gets the stair in, shotguns in, and then sprays through and takes the guy out really simply, and immediately gets out the box so he doesn't get third-partied by somebody that might be lurking nearby. One thing that PETERBOT does really well is limiting how much space people can make, especially when they're just sitting in one box like this. He's pre-piecing everything, he's blocking all the angles. The guy decides to finally go up, so take a look at how he limits his space and prevents him from going up again. He just looks above the box in this sort of region, just put your crosshair right there, and you'll be able to place a floor through the other guy's cone, just like that. And now the guy cannot go upwards anymore, and you've limited his options. Again, from here, you can just continue to piece the side, wait for what he's going to do, and then try to pressure him. And one thing is, just don't constantly smack on walls. It's better to just lock off space and then spray, and that's going to help you end fights a lot quicker. Here's a play that a lot of pros mess up, but PETERBOT actually makes it work a lot of the time and catches players off with it. The key thing is to pressure the top enough and give the guy very limited escape options. Either he stays in the same box getting pressured from the top, or he has to rebox below. So what PETERBOT does is he drops down, cones himself, and then gets this wall right here, as well as he gets the back wall, the side wall, and the cone. Then all he does is wait about a second or two for the guy to drop down. He realizes the guy's still staying in the same box, so he pressures his floor, and the guy's just forced to run away and die a little bit later on. It's really important you pressure the top and then go for the drop down piece. You don't just randomly start piecing out the bottom, which you see a lot of pros doing. Whenever you're trying to end a fight versus somebody who's oftentimes just running away and reboxing, always just look to see if you can get a cone. PETERBOT does there from below, again, very easy to do. And when he does that, he's trying to look to catch the guy and escape. He's not just jumping in straight away. However, normally what will happen whenever somebody doesn't place a cone in to begin with is they're not going to place a cone in their box again. Always check if they've got a cone inside their box or not. And one thing you can do is just look in this sort of area, put your crosshair around there while holding a cone out, and you'll be able to get a cone in their box as long as it's not completely flat on the ground and there's no other floors around it. However, here PETERBOT realizes the hill is going to work in his favor. So look what he does. He goes underneath while he's reloading his AR, gets the cone in as the guy's in the center of his box, and now the guy's trapped in his cone, and then all you do is walk through and stand up, and you'll be able to take him out. This is a really smart bait out play you can use. Right here, PETERBOT's smacking on this wall, and he hears the other opponent edit out, and he's not editing this left-hand side wall, which means he's likely to run away. Take a look at what he does. He does a double edit, places the full box below the guy, and gets the 108 tag. And the key thing is, instead of trying to rush and jumping in the guy's box right here, he just sprays through this AR, and as he's spraying, he looks up and grabs the cone to prevent the guy from reboxing. Always look to see if you can get an extended cone when you're spraying through some of these builds, instead of just trying to end the fight, since normally it will actually help you end the fight sooner by preventing them from reboxing upwards. Then from there, he just hops in and sprays through his AR while walking forward to get an easy kill. Here's 3 really useful tips that PETERBOT uses as he pressures other players. This guy's just running away for some reason. First of all is as he's chasing him down, he backwards stares towards him instead of grappling. Whenever you grapple, you've got a delay when you use it as well as when you land. Makes it quite hard to piece. But the backward stare, especially chasing somebody down like this, you accelerate really quickly, and he almost takes the guy out by catching him off guard and grabbing his wall as he slid into him. The next is as he's approaching the box right here and swinging on the guy's wall, he spots that the guy places a stair. Whenever you see a stair get placed in somebody's box, it really means that they're just going to go up. Either they're going to go up to the side or they're just going to go straight up. PETERBOT realizes this, pre-pieces and blocks everything around him to make sure he's safe. Then he does this nice little triangle edit and gets a double cone on the guy. And the guy's standing here looking absolutely clueless, and he's able to just finally get out on barely any HP. And then finally, to close out the fight without taking any more damage from this kid who's just been running away, he does this absolutely god tier peek. You guys should always be using this when you've got somebody full boxed and you don't want to take damage in return. All you do is peek like this, and the other guy can't even get damage on you as you peek over the top, and you're able to get a free max body pump a lot of the time, or even a headshot lined up pretty easily. This next fight is a perfect example of, first of all, how to approach somebody so you know you've got a massive advantage over them, as well as how to counter the sort of 2x2 strat where people with loads of boxes. First of all, Peter knows this guy's just come out of Storm, and he's going to cancel his medkit before he can even think of getting this, and he gets a damage advantage with his AR, which is really important. Damage advantages this season are so important. It means you can always take somebody out very quickly and end the fight. Secondly, this is the most common thing I see this season. Somebody gets tagged 20 and they build a 2x2 out of brick. I'm not going to say who did this for the meta, but it's very annoying to fight against. But here's how Peter deals with it. First of all is he breaks the wall as the other guy's coming to the hill, and he looks for what the guy is missing. And as you can see, the guy is missing all of the center pieces in his box, the close walls, which a lot of players miss, as well as the cones. So what Peter does is he places that close wall, and of course the other guy, being low HP, is trying to get a counter shot. He shoots the wall since Peter placed it at the correct time, and now he swings behind his peak, slides in the cone. Remember, cones are so good because you can get him from long distance, and takes him out straight away in the back. Takes the guy out in less than 10 seconds from the initiation of the fight, and now he's super stacked, cat mats, with a perfect loadout to keep on W key. Here is how to fight when you're low HP. A lot of players struggle with this. They play super passive, they play really bad peaks that aren't going to get in damage in return. However, PETERBOT plays this extremely well. He does about 6 shotgun shots without taking any damage in return, apart from one trade pump that he did to get the mythic shotgun right here. First of all, jumping peak, very simple and safe. And then secondly, as he doesn't edit reset bait on this guy, which is really smart. The guy's very limited in options. His sidewall's already low HP. Doesn't edit reset bait out. Then he forces the stair in, but waits on the edit. Doesn't insta edit, because the guy could just be standing there trying to get a timing shot in return. And then again here, doesn't rush this edit, just does a simple window peek as he chases the guy down. He doesn't want to commit into a bad angle. Unfortunately here, the guy baits him out, hides behind this stair, and PETERBOT doesn't get a stair up just in time. However, knowing that the guy has got a shotgun delay, this is actually a safe peek to do. A lot of people think this is a stupid peek to do, the guy could shoot in return, but the guy has shotgun delay. That is the really important part about this peek. He gets that shot, and then there's a right-hand window, and of course the guy can't even see PETERBOT. He's completely stuffed in by the window, and he gets a free kill in return. However, immediately after this, he's 16 HP, and another player pushes him. However, now he has mats to play with, so what does he do? Reboxes upwards straight away, and then reboxes outwards. So he's created a little bit of distance and space for himself from the other player. And then take a look at how he counter peeks this. First of all, he's moving around in between his boxes, making it hard for him to get tracked where the other player is. And this means that as the other player now 50-50s and runs into his box, PETERBOT can swap into the other box. He swaps, holds his stair for a second, then he opens up as the guy's going to break it, gets that free timing shot right there, and then does this really smart peek. Knowing the guy's going to panic because he's in Peter's full box and he's going to try to rush out, he just runs around the side, jumps from some weird angle, catches the guy off guard, and now gets super stacked on heals, and of course he's ready to win the rest of this game. One of the absolute biggest skills in fighting is knowing what type of edit or what type of play to do depending on where somebody is within a single box. Right here, Peter's chasing this other guy down, he gets the wall, and there's a lot of different edits he could do in this situation on this other player. The key reason why he decides not to do the cone like he did earlier compared to doing a stair edit, which he's going to do in a second, is because the guy could actually, since he's at the back of his box, get bumped up behind the cone. It would sort of block Peter's shot, and then he'd be able to sort of right-hand peek or do a crouch peek or something and actually hit Peter in return. And Peter's quite low in this situation, and he could easily die to that. Instead, what he does is the perfect edit. Again, assess where the other player is in the box and figure out what edit is best to do in that situation. And as you can see, the reliable Mongol Classic is perfect here because the guy's crosshair is completely blocked. It's the perfect use case of a Mongol Classic. Takes no damage in return, and he gets a nice free kill. Always look what the other person is doing and look where they're standing in their box before you make an edit.